I think that's what bothers me the most about companies when they start to switch around culture, pay, benefits, anything is I think a lot of what they have in place already is great bones. And then the problem is the people. And so when you came in, you didn't switch any of our systems or our processes or any of that, but you did switch out a lot of the people.
Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchey and Cameron Bawden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control, stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
If I asked your employees today if they love working for you, what would they say? Today on the Premium Mindset, we're going to talk about culture and how to fix it in your business.
He's like, my guys just aren't in, like, I can't get the culture right. And I'm going to purposely overuse the word culture because that's what he did. And he's not a complaining person. He was just like, I just got to get my guys motivated and I can go in there and I can do X and perform great, or I have a guy who peaks for a week and then I just can't get him to stay consistent. And just the culture is just off. And I said, Dominic, what culture do you want? Define the culture that you want. He's like, I don't know. Like, if you can't define the culture that you want, how do you expect people to follow something you can't even describe? Okay. And as a leader in business, especially as founders, it's your responsibility to control the culture. You're the thermostat. You're the regulator in the room. And for me, you know, the one thing you say, hey, like, you know, I guess the one compliment you've given me in 8 years is like, hey, you're good at culture. And
why do you hate it so much?
Because it's
here. There's nothing wrong with being the culture guy.
I
so
know.
much more. I get it.
No,
but
it's
your
like
strong suit is culture.
No, it's like I know I'm good at that. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, it's just this idea, like, I don't want to be reduced to this, like, hey,
But why is it
Evan's
reduced?
a fun
I think
guy.
it's one of the most important parts of a business.
Well, now that I know that, I'll accept it more graciously.
Okay, good.
Because usually you're just like, you want to talk culture, talk to Evan. You want to talk money, growth, everything else, I'm your guy, okay? So I thought that was like, Dominic left after we talked a little bit.
And just to clarify, Dominic is a one-on-one client who owns one of the, in my opinion, one of the most successful pool companies that I've ever coached with. I didn't know that stat that you shared at the meeting today. He has almost 1,000 customers in a 5-mile radius. And he's the only pool guy that I know that's making really good money. There's something to it. So I just want everyone to know who it is.
Right. So,
and
like,
he's doubled since he started coaching with me. I'm just saying.
No.
Like, are you sure?
I think that also illustrates that you can be making all the money in the world and your culture could be off. You also could be making no money and your culture is just on point. In terms of, like, I'm talking about here's where I illustrate. Let me give you the platform.
I got something.
Okay?
Keep going.
Cameron's making money hand over fist at Green Mango. You have a manager in between you and the middle level managers. You've earned that. You've gone through literally hell and back from 2020 to 2023 between ice raid, investor rug pulls, you name it, right? So you're like, look, I got a competent guy.
Dealing with you.
That's one of the positives in your life at that point, right? I'm one of the deposits, not withdrawals. Right. And so you have a very competent guy running Green Mango, and you meet with him one-on-one, and you're still at Green Mango, but you call me like, hey, I like your team meetings. I like when I go over to Coconut, everyone just seems happy. Like, just come look at Green Mango. I'm like, okay. So I go look at Green Mango.
I feel like I'm not coming over.
Dude, well, I go over to Green Mango. And I think I opened the front door and someone like hissed at me. I'm like, whoa, it was more so like, okay, here was one of the first things
looking out for themselves.
Yes, very simply. And not only that, like, there were little touches that do make culture better. And like, even with like the lights off, like, that bugs me. I walked in and the lights were off and the call center reps like blanket over their shoulders. They got Bisquick snacks on their desk. And I'm just like, wow, like, the trucks, the techs, the service. I haven't seen a bug. I got my parents sold 14 years prior. Well, I guess at the time, 12 years prior. Never seen a scorpion. They got 26 grandchildren. They have all the peace in the mind in the world to let the kids play in the backyard because of Green Mango,
Isn't that
right?
Beautiful, man.
So I'm like, how the heck, when you go into the office, like, why does it feel like people are just looking out for themselves? And there was a few different things that we did, but to really tie in and use the compliment that you said, that you feel culture is one of the most important things because you've seen what a profitable company can be dragged down by when culture isn't good. And you've also seen what like a non-profitable company, what culture means for that. And it's two different things. And so that's the story that I would illustrate real quick is that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would say like culture at Coconut in terms of like everyone's happy was on point. And everyone was making a lot of money. The team meetings were fun. And at the end of the day, we got a real CFO that came in and said, hey, there's nothing left over at the end of the year. And I'm like, because like you're about to cut a big check for a big draw, and that's why there's nothing left over. But it was like this idea, it was this polarity of like principle for me where I'm like, 2023, Coconut's still like good culture, but then like I go to Green Mango and it's like, hey, we're making great money, but like my people, I don't think my leaders are happy and I want them happy.
We had exact opposite issues.
Yes. And I'm like, what is happening here? So I go to Green Mango and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. And a lot of like where I feel like I assisted with culture was like, okay, if in a business you say, oh, the customer is king, right? As an entrepreneur, your customer is twofold. It's the customer that buys the service or product that you have, but it's also the people that day in and day out buy in on your vision or they don't. And what I knew of you at the time as my partner is like you had the premium standards. You had the like in the bathroom, wipe up after yourselves, and you paid for the cleaning services, right? But it's like, man, the people. And so in regards, so let's start with scenario one, right? Where it's like maybe you are out there, you're making money, and you just don't really like your people too much. Or maybe you like your people, but you're like, I'm at a point, I've been doing this a couple of years, and I just don't have the energy to put all the time in the world to knowing them, knowing where everyone is. But you still see that like something needs to be fixed because you're either losing employees or you're not getting the most from them. So where I first started was the leaders. And I asked the leaders one question. I said, what do you do all day? And immediately like they went peacock tail up. They're like, oh, I do this, I do that. Who's asking? I'm like, Cameron, he just wants to know how we can help you more. Oh, well, ask this leader what they do all day, right? Long story short, in the period of 9 months, we let go of 11 of 13. Of the 11, I think 4 quit because of the pressure. But we got back to the root of what made Green Mango so good, which was the premium mindset and how you go about delivering.
Like what you did
little plug there. And how you go about delivering not only the service to customers, but also like having the employees feel appreciated.
I think that's what bothers me the most about companies when they start to switch around culture, pay, benefits, anything is I think a lot of what they have in place already is great bones. And then the problem is the people. And so when you came in, you didn't switch any of our systems or our processes or any of that, but you did switch out a lot of the people. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value. Like I feel like we keep kind of talking about A players a lot lately. And, you know, I'll tell a story really quick. 8 months, I used to make fun of my buddy James. He would always get the black Uber X, you know? Yeah. And it was like, dude, what are you doing? That's another $100 more. You know, I've told this story before, but like it's another $100. And I'm kind of cheap that way. It's like, dude, just pay the $40 Prius, you know? I came in late one night, 2 a.m., and I ordered a Prius or whatever it came. And it smelled like smoke. It had holes in the seats. And I waited like 40 minutes for the guy. He kept getting lost.
You got like the driver's baby behind you in a car seat next to you. You're like, what is this, dude?
And I was freaking pissed, dude. And from that night, I'm like, I'm never taking a normal Uber ever again. Yeah. I'm not doing it. Well, we were in New York last week, and we were at the Ryder Cup. There's 50,000 people there. It was a nightmare, honestly, trying to get out of there. There's 20,000 trying to order an Uber. Like, you have to take what you get.
Yeah.
There's no Uber X's available, the blacks or whatever. We got into a normal Uber, and it was the worst ride of my whole life. It was 50 minutes. The guy was full gas, full brakes, full gas, full brakes.
Yelling out the window.
The car smelled like ish. The seatbelt barely, and I was just like, there's nothing wrong with Uber. It's the the person that's running it. It's and what's so funny is when we got to the hotel after that, we went to the Yankees game. We got it, and then we were able to get an Uber X. The most relaxed car ride, a better driver. It wasn't like, oh, these are New York drivers. It's not like that. It's the quality of people. I think when you're starting out a business, you naturally go and hire the cheapest labor that you can because that's what you feel like you can afford.
That's a great segue into yeah.
But then you create all these great systems and processes, and in 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, you're like, man, we need to change this, we need to change that, and you're overhauling all you're looking at yourself in the mirror like as you should as a CEO. Yeah. And you're saying this needs to change, that needs to change. And I think it always comes back to the people. And that's where I was on a one-on-one call just 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday. And they were talking about how they're going to change their pay because the bonuses that they have set in place, no one's hitting them. And I said, walk me through your bonuses. And they're like, no one cares about the bonuses. No one's hitting them. I said, walk me through it. You basically have to show up in order to hit the bonuses. And I'm saying the bonuses, your bonuses aren't the issue. It's the people that are the issue.
It's the people that are showing up.
It's the people that are showing up or not showing up.
Right.
And I said, go fix your people first, and then let's wait 6 months. And then if they're still not hitting their bonuses, which means they're not hitting their KPIs, then let's go change your processes. And I just want to bring that up because I think as business owners, we start to go fix everything else. And it's like, dude, the very people that are running it are most of the time, in my opinion, the issue.
Right.
And so you love the Bugatti. When I think about the Bugatti, it's like, what makes the Bugatti? It's all the little parts of the Bugatti. It's the inspections that it go through. But if you take a part away from the Bugatti and you hang it on the shelf, it's just another part. Yeah. And so you can either pay upfront for the Bugatti that's done, that's been tested, that's been gone through the survey, that's now a Bugatti, or you can go piece it together. And I think that's the decision that you can make as an employer is that, hey, do I want to pay for someone else that's invested into Evan over the past 8 years to make Evan today? Or do I want to go buy Evan 8 years ago and he's only worth a Toyota Prius right now, but now he's worth a Bugatti?
Right.
Employees are the same. Hey, what makes this person this? Well, it's because he went through it. It's the conversation we had with Kate the other day when Kate, your wife, at the time she wasn't, but she came in as
an account rep.
Media.
An account rep. Yeah.
Probably making $40,000, $50,000 a year.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, Kate, would you take a job for less than $200,000 now? And she's like, no.
Yep.
Like, why? And she said, because of all the crap that I went, she used a different word. This is a PG show.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
All the crap that I went through. And it's like, I love that because you now are worth the Bugatti because you went through all these things. And so when we're talking about culture or pay or whatever, look at your people first. That's it, man.
You just #facts over here. Okay. So let's break this down into digestible action points. Cause I feel like at the end of the day, when I run into a 1% member or someone else, they have all these bite-sized digestible things from you. And then
how do I apply it?
Right. And then but also there's this part of me where it's I'm in a setting where I'm just spitting out a few things and I'm like, dude, I don't think they understand what those bite-sized digestible things do long-term. And what I said is missing so much context. And so I think what you said is probably the most important thing is that it starts with your people and who you allow to walk in the door. And that's kind of what we wrote down. And I feel like it's important to reference this because it's, it is this 8 years for me, 15 years for you of these hard lessons. And so if you are in your business and you can't just fire everyone immediately, because they don't choose to conform and, follow your standards. It starts with like, okay, the new person I'm going to interview. And I'm going to ask them a little bit about themselves, what their standards are, like how they how they feel about work. Right? And then you find people who have similar standards to your company standards, and then you set expectations from the beginning. And then the next step, which is I feel like you got really dialed in around like year 11, 12 for the roadmap. Go ahead.
I just see birthdays on our notes here. I can't wait for it.
Oh gosh, I passed over that, but actually I didn't mean to. So let's have the link in there for the Hype Farm little document that you have.
The gratitude text, or which one?
No, this is so if you want a form that will help you maximize the relationship with every employee, either the link or whatever it's going to look like below. We'll attach it for this episode. And every new employee that comes through at Coconut that started at Green Mango, we have them enter in, I think it's like answers to 16 questions in regard to like their birthday, their hobbies, their likes. You'll appreciate it later when it's their birthday and you're like, you go to a Target real quick and now you can put together a quick basket because you have it.
That's cool.
And so you would put that together, 3-4 years ago. And then what you do with the information is probably more important, but Cameron was really good at, following through on the anniversaries and the birthdays, and those were super important.
Downtone in his voice.
However, more important, those were super important, but that form, you'll thank me later. It's helped us not only in a bind, but it comes full circle to my conversation with Dominic, where he's just like, how do you get them motivated? I said, what's their carrot? I was surprised you haven't mentioned the carrot principle to them. Have you?
I'm surprised too. If I
okay,
haven't.
Yeah, because he's like, he's like,
man.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not. I'm like, well, he's like, their carrot, like their carrot.
This dumb little accent.
I'm like, what the heck is this, dude? What'd you just say? And and I said, like, okay, you got 14 guys, right? How old are they? He's like 23 to 35. I'm like, do the 23-year-olds want Jordans and sneakers and AirPods and the new iPhone? He's like, probably. I'm like, well, here's what's funny. People will often gravitate more and be more excited for something that is tailored to them that you're willing to give with a little bit more input. And when it's tailored, right? So if I call Cole and I say, hey, pair of Jordans, right? It may not fit right now. For him, he's just like, dude, you tell me to hit some, and for $1,000 cash, like I'll go nuts. But these 22-year-olds, man, sometimes you just say, hey, bottle of cologne up to $500 if you do an extra $2,000. So he didn't know anything about his people in terms of what they like, what they don't like. So that form will help you. And then the birthdays and anniversaries, like it's just a staple. You gotta recognize that. We have so much time where we text somebody, hey, happy anniversary. They're like, it's not my anniversary. I'm like, crap. So like getting that stuff right, getting it dialed in makes a big difference for contributing to culture, because at the end of the day, people don't care how much you know. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And so those forms set you up for success. And then you can take it into like the employee roadmap, which I feel like leads to a better culture when everyone knows that their individual role isn't plateaued, whether in promotion, but also in additional commissions and pay. Because I feel like you were really good to say, like, here is a roadmap that you can have here at Green Mango. You can become a tech, to a field manager, to a branch manager. And in the pursuit of that thing, you could also make more money through specialty sales and et cetera.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to buy, like it's nice and those carrots are great, right? But I think people appreciate being around other winners. And so when I think about Jonathan, who I really appreciated, like he helped me move the needle so much at Green Mango. I think about Roy, who helped me at West Valley. And then I think about Gustavo, who took over Roy's position. And I think about Joe, who took over Jonathan's position. And when I thought it couldn't get better, it got better. And it wasn't because they were handing out more money or more gifts or more anything. They created the standard. And
they enforced,
they didn't create, they enforced the standard. Yeah, thank you. And that's, I think people appreciate that. Yeah. Like when you have a friend that's saying, hey, I go to the gym, like, let's go to the gym. Or, hey, I'm going to get $2,000 in upsells this week, this month, whatever it might be. We're going to do this together. I think people appreciate that. They hate it at the beginning, right? But they love it over time. And so when you create a culture that holds the line, and I think that's what a nugget that could come out of this podcast for you is that if your leader isn't willing to hold the line, you probably shouldn't have him lead. Mm-hmm. If you're embarrassed to say, hey, you have to get this done and it's a non-negotiable, if he can't hold that, it's going to hurt you. And, you know, Jonathan was the guy that would let it slide a little bit. He would be lenient. Joe, how old, 10 years older than Jonathan?
Yeah.
10 years older, came in, and even to a point where you and I were like, Joe, like, relax, bro. Chill, like, you're going to, like, chill out. You're going to piss these guys off. No, this is how you do it. Yeah. This is the way it needs to be done. And, dude, he drove results, man. And I think people loved being a part of something bigger and loved being a part of this team. And that's when I saw a huge change. And so what I loved about your meeting, the Q4 meeting, was I think, is it fair to say you've kind of gotten soft? You've been calling me soft lately, so I'm coming back.
I've gotten soft?
You've gotten soft with your leaders of, like, allowing them to get away with certain things that you know are true.
For sure.
And you put the hammer down saying, hey, I need the Gustavos here. I need the Joes to lay down the law and hold the line, because the line is what makes us special. The line is hard and difficult, but those are the things that make us special. And I think that's how you build a great, like, first and foremost, that's how you build a great culture. The Lululemon, the Louis Vuitton, I'm just kidding. I'm saying that because you were talking about that yesterday. Like, that's all cool things, and I think that helps. But, like, create a standard of excellence. We talk about Bill Belichick. We talk about Tom Brady. People loved going to that team because they were a winning team. But what it took to win, it was difficult. But I think people leveled up. And I'm sure if you talk to all the teammates that played with them, they would say, like, I'm going out on a limb here, but it's like, those were probably my best years. I never worked harder, but it was rewarding. I was a part of a team that won and, like, expected greatness.
In regard to winning, let's roll with that, because I feel like that was for Dominic, it was the missing piece. And I feel like so many entrepreneurs, sometimes I shock myself with the truths that I have, but he said something about, like, all the guys into sports, whatever. And I was like, when you think about the demographic of people that you have at your company, like, where's their time and attention? It's sports. And then when they're not watching sports, they're at work. But then when they're not at work and watching sports, like, they're doing a hobby, and it's generally involves something winning. And so, like, I shock myself sometimes where he
told you about he was so excited about the Masters.
Okay. So, like, I said,
we need to do a podcast just on that,
because that's kind of where this was going, is like, look, to win, there has to be a scoreboard. And if you don't have the scoreboard, which is KPIs, which, again, I remember putting the foot down at Green Mango to a certain demographic of leaders that were like, we're not respected like salespeople, and salespeople are rewarded. And, just people that are in indirect labor positions, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, I've really come to realize that, like, all businesses exist not necessarily because of service or product that you have, it's because of sales. Mm-hmm. And your entire financial portfolio doesn't exist without incoming revenue, right? And so to win and to increase your culture, maybe we'll give a little, like, small portion of it, and then we'll break it down to how you can do it. Because even him sharing his dynamics, I had to, like, okay, let's try it this way. Let's do this. But gamify your business internally. That's how people win. So if people are really attached to sports and they like seeing people win, people like infinitely more being the one that wins. And so when you have a culture that you say, okay, look, let's say you're a plumber, and your guys go out because of your marketing efforts and your brand, and they produce on average $1,000 in route revenue to 2 jobs. And you pay them $250, and you're okay because your COGS get you down. You're left with a couple $100. Gamifying your KPIs in your business is crucial to advancing your culture. And what that looks like for us was 3-4 years ago, we made the Masters at Coconut. And it was because we had 5-6 guys that were just dogs, best performers, and they pissed everyone else off. Literally, oh, well, you give Evan Nauman the best route, and you give Caleb this, and you give Cole that. Okay, look, you know what? At the end of the day, I could get rid of the other 15 people, and these 6 people would carry the company. Mm-hmm. So we gamified our most important aspect, which is like our sales. And not just gamified as in like, oh, who had the best sales the previous day? Like we made quarterly qualifier competitions where every week these guys would go against another technician. And it's important to make sure that the qualifications are the things that are important to your business, like job average, close rate. For you, it could be reservice rate or reviews, whatever.
Rate.
Yeah, completion rate, retention. And so every week the technicians would go against each other, and then every day back to your point on like the automated text, like we had this automated text go out. I don't know why you stopped that. And we had this automated text go out, and it said like everyone's numbers, and then they'd show up in the next day to see if they won. Whoever won the most during the quarter, the top 2 guys would go against each other. The top guy would get the qualifier golden ticket into the Masters at the end of the year. They'd also win a Honda 110. That was totally your contribution. I had no idea what it was. You're like, what if we do a Honda 110? And I'm like, a freaking car, dude? Like we're not giving these guys a car. It's a pit bike, dude. So you take me to, I forget the place. We go get it. It became a whole thing. Our job average, when you look at the month before the Masters and the month after Masters, our job average went from 230 to 510. And we're like, okay, we're on to something. And so what that did was it said, look, this is what is important to us for standard. And what we indirectly said was that the people who show up and put up the results are the people who are rewarded here. And this is the behavior that we want to reward. And it came with its fair share of headaches and problems. And then people are cheating. And then it's like, okay, cool. Like people cheat, they got to go. And then the people that were sore losers, they're getting written up. And the people that were sore winners, like they were getting written up because it was like, hey, like you can't be doing that. But nonetheless, like I feel like it infused into the culture a sense of like winning and competitive spirit that allow people to show up every day and have a reason beyond just like delivering the.
Well, that's it right there. And that's where I was so excited for Dominic is like, put yourself in their shoes. They've been with you for 2-3 years. Yep. And every single week they're expected to upsell $1,000 pump.
Yep.
Just gets boring.
Yep.
And so if you want to create a great culture, like create change within your business that gets people excited to wake up for something new.
Yep.
And like, that's what life's all about anyways. And so it's your job as a CEO to figure out how do we kind of mix it up around here a little bit? Yeah. Liz has always worked out, and the past 3 weeks, like she's doubled down on working out in a different way of like, Liz used to be the girl like, I'm not going to eat anything, or I'm going to work out so that I can eat my cake. Like I'm going to love the chocolate cake. Now she's like tracking her macros, and she's created a new light of wanting to work out. And I don't know like what it stemmed from, but it's like she's waking up like she did 2-a-days the other day. Like woke up in the morning, did the gym. I was chipping with Banks at night, and like she's over there doing another workout. I'm like, I wonder what she's training for. Like, I don't know if she knows right now, but something got her so excited to where like she was working out every single day, but she's doing 2-a-days now, or she's eating healthy. It's our job as a business to create a great culture, which is mixing it up a little bit, because it just sucks to show up every single week and expect to sell $1,000 pump.
And here's what I'd say about that, and something that really like hit hard was, and this is cheesy, I'm not going to look at him when I give him this compliment here, but it's like, I just know that anything we do, we're going to win. When I can't bring it up, because like that was like, we had a moment a couple weeks ago where you're just like, hey man, like I want to know what you want, and I love everything that we're doing. I love, I have some other things that I am doing, but like I want to double down. Like, I'm making all these big connections, but also there's this part of me that like I don't want you to resent me because I'm not here all the time. And is that enough for you? And if it's not, like maybe we should be proactive in having those conversations. And if it is like, we're never going to have to talk about this, like we can keep going. And this microsecond of thought, I'm like, I don't want to do business with I started looking at you for a second, but like, I didn't want to do business without you. Cause I was like,
thanks,
wait,
man.
I was like, I appreciate you being proactive and having that kind of conversation. I think very few partners can, but it was just this like quick micro thought where I'm like, and I told you to stop talking. I was like, stop talking like that. I'm so happy, one, with where we're at, but two, with also with where we're going. And that is what like got me going into our Q4 meeting, where it got me lit up, because I was like, I had this thought, I'm like, can I be the guy that takes this thing as big as where it's going to go? Or am I defaulting on like, I just know like with me and Cameron chipping away, like we're always going to do it. But your brand as a leader dictates the culture. And anytime when you're looking into your culture, and it's not, you don't put a period at the end of culture and say like, oh, I feel like I'm a great leader, I feel like I'm a great person, but like I have a bad culture. It's also this idea of like, it's an evolution. But I heard this analogy where they said, hey, if Marriott said, we're going to create a shoe, what would the shoe look like? I'm like, I don't freaking know. Okay, well, if Nike said we're going to create a hotel, what would it look like? I was like, oh, they would do this and cutting edge this and sleek this and all this different like. He's like, that's brand. He's like, so if like, what's the Yamaha or the jet ski with a big one? He said if they said, hey, we're going to go create an exotic car, what would it be? I'm like, I have no idea. Yeah. He's like, if Lamborghini said we're going to create a jet ski, what would it look like? I'm like, it's going to be sleek, this. And he's like, what is your brand? And when people say Evan's on this project,
that's cool.
What do people associate with the potential end product and where it can go? And so as it pertains to culture, I think, and I agree, that I think it's extremely important. I take a lot of pride in being good at it, but it comes with like a heavy cost of like consistently being in the weeds with your people of like, where are the people? Where are they at? Because even when the biggest businesses start to topple, what do? They go right back up to the front. And so culture and having a good culture is a persistent effort and not getting to a point where you're going to topple. And that requires you to be in the know of your frontline people, of your initial customers, and simultaneously trying to grow something national. It can be taxing, but I know that at the end of the day, it's worth it.